Yo peeps, welcome to the Conspiracy Cupboard. Today we're going to be looking into Malcom Bendall, the plasmoid research that he's doing, this thunderstorm generator. Is it a load of bollocks? Is it a real thing? Who knows? Let's have a look. Cue the title sequence. There we go. Okay, so first off, I've got to start by saying thank you so much to everyone that has subscribed recently. And if you're watching this video and you've not subscribed yet, what's wrong with you? Come and subscribe, come and check out the rest of the videos. There's lots of stuff: gender ideology war, UAPs, UK UFO sightings, ghost stories, bits with me and Mr. Dermy on Trivial, so come and check us out. Also, a big shout out to the lads that I met the other day in the pub. You know who you are. And yeah, great group of young lads. I hope we have more young guys like yourself, open-minded, willing to listen, and yeah, really understanding what's going on in the world. So I've got some upcoming episodes, as I said, obviously about ancient technologies. So I'm going to start with this and the Malcom Bendall stuff. So if you've not heard this, Randall Carlson mentioned on an episode of Joe Rogan, I think it was 1897 or something like that it was on, about this guy Malcom Bendall, who's been working on this sacret geometry engine and using sound waves and geometry style things in engines to make them work. Lot of callback to Nikola Tesla, so I'm going to get on to a Nikola Tesla video, which I laid the groundwork for a very long time ago in a video that I did nearly 11 months ago now. So it's nearly been a year. So next month will be a year that the channel's been up. And I've nearly got 200 subscribers. And when I first started the channel, I didn't even think I'd have two, you know. So thank you so much again to everyone that's, you know, sort of looked into me. And, you know, I don't put across stuff that I don't believe in. And I am very aware of anything that I say can be shown as influence towards people. Okay, and I've always said it's up to you to decide what I tell you. You know, if it's UAP stuff, if it's ghost stuff, it's up to you. But I'm going to give you as much information as I can on that and give you my opinions. And not that I want you to emulate me or follow my opinions. You know, I'm just going to give them to you. They're going to be just there. You know, so. I'm aware that this t-shirt makes it seem like I've got no shoulders or neck, and, and that is just me. That's quite funny. So, Malcom Bendall then. I've got a couple of clips to show you, which I'm going to put on in a second, from some interviews that he's done on a really long sort of podcast kind of episode thing. And I'll show you that there, but the thing about it is, in the episode, which you can go and watch, I will link it in here, they don't actually explain how any of this works. He just talks about, obviously, you know, oil companies, you know, trying to do this, and, you know, the political systems trying to push the climate crisis stuff, which I do agree. You know, I don't believe in all the climate stuff myself, to be fair. I get the climate's changing. I get that we do cause an issue, but there are other ways and means and other things that we should be doing to counter these things. And the carbon emissions, you know, plants eat the carbon, but we end up cutting all the plants down, you know. It doesn't make sense. So if you look into at least one part of this, the thunderstorm generator, which I've got a video to play from Alchemical Science, which is done by Jordan. Go check out the channel. He covers Malcom Bendall loads. Okay, so he's gone really in depth into the plasmoid side of it, how these plasmoids are created out of air bubbles through the generator. And you're going to see in a second when I put this clip on for you how it sort of works and how it runs, but I'm going to explain before you watch it. So basically there's two chambers on an engine, okay, and you have from the exhaust a valve coming out into a chamber with a UV bulb in it, and the gas passes through the UV bulb and it does some ionization thing, apparently, to it. Then it passes through another tube into another cylinder containing an air stone at the bottom. Now, the air stone has like microparticle air stone. So something you'd have in a large fish tank, possibly you can use that. But it's got to be very small air pockets that come out. Then it passes through some kind of mesh, some kind of wire mesh, into another grid, out into the open space where water is. And this is where the plasmoid action occurs. Okay, apparently the tiny air bubbles that contain whatever gases are still in there after they come through should change into hydrogen, oxygen, basic elements once the plasmoids are impacted with the pressure from the engine, from the pistons kicking back through into the chamber to create these tiny plasmoid spherules, which then grow bigger and kick back into the engine, creating oxygen and stuff, firing the engine back up, so kicking out what you would assume to be a neutral gas coming out. So oxygen, hydrogen, basic elements, no or small traces of carbon, but not the massive carbon emissions that you get from cars and machinery today. And supposedly this technology can be transmuted over to run power stations, to run any engine that you can think of, whether it's coal powered, whether it's petrol, diesel, or whatever. So I'm going to put this clip on for you, a couple of little bits from alchemical science. One of them showing a stand-up generator being run with this machine on, and just so you can see it running. And there's a little clip from there that I'm going to put on of a car that they modified to have this on. So here's this little clip for you from alchemical.
That's how the reaction's happening. So then it's just going straight into the engine. What's happening down here, like we've discussed in the previous videos, but this is where the plasmoids are being generated. So we're bringing in these very, very small bubbles. They're coming up, they're being even further micronized by this stainless steel catalyst, being pulled up into the top of the chamber. And then this is when we get that pulse of the engine's pistons, reversing the pressure with this exact measuring cup capacity. Then we're getting that equal amount of pressure coming, imploding, collapsing these bubbles into our plasmoids at this point, or these toroidal shaped bubbles, which then are the self-contained field of the plasmoids. So they're being generated here, and then they're forming this clockwise vortex that's entering the thunderstorm generator at the bottom here. And so as I was mentioning, on the new designs, they're going to have two spheres here so that there is a swirl guide for the cold stream as well as the hot up the top. But on this original design, they didn't do that. It was, these were the first experiments, and they've only since then kind of discovered, that this is going to improve efficiency. So yeah, this is pretty exciting stuff. So what we've got here, if you want to bring it in nice and close here, so you can see this is the fuel going into the carb here, and then we've actually got a spacer in between the carb and the engine. Can you just see it show from the top there? And see, that's where the thunderstorm generator is entering right there in this prototype. By the way, I forgot to mention, if you're wondering, this is just the fuel tank. It's just been moved up here to just fit everything in the unit easily there.
So listen to the rev chain. So that's the bubbler on. Slight kind of burnt smell.
Plasmoid car, the pollution solution.
So as you can see then, Jordan there, he took you through, so he showed you the machine there. It's all running, everything's on, you know, they turn it on, he smells the air. Like he said, it smells cleaner. Obviously it's hot, it's coming out from an engine. It changes it slightly. This is apparently an old model, and as you can see, it's just made out of some old tubes and some copper pipe, you know. So he said that this was one of their first prototype models for the thunderstorm generator. Now, if this works, along with, you know, other people that have been suppressed in the past, Nikola Tesla being one of them, you know, the guy that did that hydrogen water car that then amazingly died, you know, suddenly after eating a sandwich, I believe it was, and other people that have invented stuff that's clean energy, that's free energy, that's transmutable, you know, that can clean up current technologies so that we can use them. They get suppressed, they get shut down, and they somehow disappear, don't they? And we never see the outcome of the technology or any of these things. So I'm going to play you this clip, and then I'm going to get into my thoughts on this. So this is just a snippet from Randall Carlson and Malcom Bendall talking to this professor guy, who I don't know the name of. I'll put his name in the clip. And they're basically discussing a few bits, but this is just to show you who he is. And yeah, he used to work for the American government, I believe, doing some bits, and the Australian government, and then in some kind of like aerospace thing. He's had his own companies, and this is where it's a bit. So here's a clip of him and Randall sort of talking to this professor dude.
Yeah, it's an important element because in the mining industry, I'm a mining engineer too. When you're underground and you say, well, I think that looks safe, you know, you better be sure it is.
So we have heard a lot about your work and where you are now. You are in the States to promote the work you have done and the discoveries you have made. And how do you expect this to go? Let me first go into this very general perspective. We all know that some scientists came up in the last decades with some pretty amazing breakthroughs, and then one never heard of them again. I mean, you told me about some of those you met, including the you know, Pons and Fleischmann, who in the 80s claimed they had found the secret of cold fusion, and they were highly criticized and derided, and you never heard from them again. So in your case, I want to clarify that this is not the same technology, although there are some principles that one could, you know, find common to you and them. How do you propose to avoid precisely this pitfall of a technology being found too out there, you know, too breakthrough, and then being essentially shelved?
Well, I think that it's about timing. And I was just talking to Randall about, you know, he's done his life's work. I've done my life's work. You know, it's a matter of timing. So when the time is right, and I think that you need, in every industry, you need people that are icebreakers, and someone to go ahead and do what no one wants to do because it costs too much and it's too painful. You know, ice is sharp and it cuts you. So basically, those people have done the hard work, especially Ken Shoulders, his lifetime's work, Nikola Tesla, obviously with the planetary power plant, which you can see I have acknowledged here, and I've improved upon it with current knowledge and technologies that Tesla didn't have the materials really. It was ahead of his time. And sort of the whole story of Nikola Tesla, I think pretty much encapsulates what you're talking about. And that is when JP Morgan, Tesla was so excited, and I've had the same experience, and it's really quite crushing, and it lays you on the canvas, it knocks you down. There's no good saying anything else. You're bloody and you grab the rope and you drag yourself back up again. But with Nikola Tesla, he received the full wrath of, at that stage, the oil barons who were out of control. And, the Parliament or the US government eventually had to step in and break up those monopolies because it was just too much of a concentration of power. Now, Nikola Tesla, for everyone viewing, is there's one thing I need to get over. And this is why I come on behalf of those I love. One, the planet that I love. And also I have love and respect for everyone that trailblazed me. I'm a trailblazer myself. I'm a miner. I know what effort it takes. I know the cuts and bruises you get and the privations and deprivations that you have to endure to get a vision into reality, to make a dream come true. It's a lot of energy, and we stand on the shoulders of giants. I'm a conduit for information. That information I've sought through every source I could possibly get. And what I realized when I was at university is that we didn't have the knowledge. Something was terribly, terribly wrong. And I couldn't put my finger on it, but I knew it was wrong. When I was 14, I knew it was wrong. So I've been trying to search for what I knew wasn't right. And that's what Randall's work has been about, is a search for the truth. With Nikola Tesla, when he drove his car from Canada to Miami, just using 7 aerials and a tuned electric motor with his Wardenclyffe tower, right? And he came back excited. Mr. Morgan, I've got it. It's free power for the whole world. And the one question that came into JP Morgan's mind is, well, wait a minute, I can't put a meter on that. Like you're just announcing that you're empowering people. And I would say, as a real lesson to the world, that I think everyone looks to their government and should look to the people they're working with and ask yourself this question. Is what they're doing empowering me and empowering the world? Or is what they're doing is disempowering me and disempowering the world? Because I'd posit to the world that evil is simply people disempowering other people through their own greed and stupidity, because a lot of these things that they're implementing, explosive technologies, are primitive technologies. Civilizations, mature civilizations, would not knowingly poison themselves and destroy the very planet they're living on. It doesn't make any sense. It's not sustainable. When you've got an electric car that is actually only 5% energy efficient, and that battery you're carrying around can only carry 1/100th of the power of the...
So there we go. You've seen him speaking, talking generally about, energy and stuff. So here's my thoughts on this. Okay, I can't find anything out about the guy properly, and everything that I do sort of look into makes him seem like a scam artist. But is that the way things are designed these days? I don't know. The plasmoid stuff, now I've been watching Alchemical Science. I urge you to go and watch him. I've tried understanding the basics behind it. I mean, I'm quite far out in the fact that I do believe that there are other dimensions. I believe that we can only see a portion of the dimension that we actually exist in anyway, and that energy is around us and that we can use and harness energies, and that frequencies do make a difference. So I'm going to be doing a portion on sound wave technology, where you can cut sound and you can levitate with sound. And I find that really fascinating and interesting. So that's going to be an upcoming episode as well, because I want to devote a bit more time to that. But this is going to be along in the series of the sort of ancient civilization that I believe possibly existed before the Younger Dryas impact, or pre. that event, which I'm actually sort of writing about in a book that I'm doing, which you'll get the rest of, which is part of the End Without End series. So if you're not listening to that little snippet, please go and listen to that portion of the book. So yeah, so I can't. One thing that gets me is that in this little podcast thing that they did, talking to him, not once was anyone going, right then, Malcolm, how's this engine thing work then? You know, when can we expect it to be on something? You know, apparently Mazda were looking into doing something with him. He's working here in the UK, apparently on an energy plant or a power plant or something to possibly install a thunderstorm generator, I believe, or something along those lines, do some kind of work here, which I need to look into more. But like I say, he's a very difficult guy to look into and to find out if he's genuine. Now, there's the plasmoid unification model as well, which I've got here for you. To me, it's pretty colours on a spectrum. I'm not knocking this, okay? I just don't know what to make of it. It's yeah, I honestly, I don't know if this thunderstorm generator thing works and it can be perfected to kick out, you know, oxygen, low trace amounts of carbon, then fantastic. Obviously, it needs to be modified to go onto a vehicle or to be able to be put onto a car that runs nowadays. Otherwise, you're going to have some massive tanks sat somewhere, which obviously if they're built into the car, it's not an issue. And you just have to top the water up inside the plasmoid chamber every now and again, which you just have a valve at the front of the car, wouldn't you, which would top that up, so that wouldn't be an issue. Which then obviously solves this electric car thing that they're trying to push for the climate crisis. And I've not mentioned this before, but I'm going to get into this. So electric cars, okay, they're not sustainable. They're not sustainable at all. We don't have enough resources to make them. We don't have the infrastructure to power them in the first place, okay? And we won't do with the current climate that we're in, especially in the UK, you know? We've got power companies that benefit from power crises, you know? And not one of them are like government funded, you know? Not one of them are funded by us. They just take the money off us. They don't actually have any control over the fucking infrastructure. They're just the people that bought the use of the grid. You know, I could do it tomorrow. I could set up, you know, Miss Chief's power, right? I don't have to have anything to do with it. I don't have to have people that service it or anything. All I need is to buy a portion of the grid here and go, right, brilliant, I'm going to sell this back to people now, generated by somebody else, so I don't have what to do with that. I'm just going to sell you this power back. And that's what most of these people are doing. That's why nothing gets fixed in this country. That's why there's no infrastructure for it. So, as I mentioned, I did a video a very long time ago, 11 months ago, I got distracted, about Ernest Alexanderson. Now, he worked alongside Nikola Tesla and Thomas Edison. Now, he was actually an apprentice of Thomas Edison's and ended up working for him. So go and watch that video. It's a very long time ago. It's a bit boring because I didn't really know how. I was trying to be very serious at the time and give you lots of information. And now I just thought, sod it, I'll just tell you what I think. And the bits that I get for you, and you can go and decide for yourself and go and look for yourself, you know. I shouldn't have to do all the work for you. You know, you should be able to go and look into this. I urge you, go and look into this plasmoid stuff. You know, find out for yourself. What do you think? Is it a load of crap? Is it real? You know, like I said, I think that all works. Now, my point about Ernest Alexanderson was he invented like the radio along with Tesla. He's one of the first guys that invented color TV, the TV transmissions and stuff. Okay, he was there on the first broadcast. These people were pioneering, you know, and he understood a lot of Tesla's work. So if you go and watch the video, you'll understand he sort of worked on the borderline of Edison. And Edison was the one who basically went, well, we're going to do it this way then. Okay, because I understand we can do it this way. And Tesla proved he could make free power. He invented an electric car before electric cars were even a thing, right? It wasn't powered from the car. It was powered from the air, from the station that he made that basically transmitted the power. Now, all of Tesla's information has been taken by the US government and hidden. You know, you'll see on the plasmoid unification model stuff that they're doing, there is a replica sort of well, what appears to be Tesla's energy center, his planetary energy provider, which he roughly sort of based on the pyramids, which I'm going to get into in a later episode, obviously, going through all this ancient technology stuff and ancient civilizations of them, you know, the pyramids possibly being power generation units for free energy. Now, this is a thing that we know because of Nikola Tesla is a thing. The plasma unification model and all this kind of stuff comes technically from Tesla. So, you know, Malcom Bendall's technically not doing anything new. And if you actually believe the technology and how it works, he wouldn't be doing anything new because technically it's ancient technology. You know, along with the things that I'm going to be getting into about the sound wave stuff, like I said, about levitating. So these were very clever people back then, and they understood all of this, but it was all suppressed back in Tesla's day because they suppressed him because he could do this. You know, like Edison said, well, how am I meant to meter this? You know, I can't meter free energy, which is why we live in the society that we do today, where we have to pay for our energy and it comes through wires to our home so it can be regulated for us, same as our water, same as the gas. You know, they can't let you have your own sewerage system that, you know, fills up with methane from your crap that you do every day and pump back into your house, because that'd be free gas, wouldn't it? They couldn't do that. No one's going to make any money off that. How can we do that? So you're talking insanity, you know? Free power, giving you free power, that's just insane. Now, Bob Lazar, weird to mention him in this, isn't it, I suppose? But Bob Lazar mentioned something about Nikola Tesla and his free energy, and something very interesting. He said that we probably wouldn't have computers or some of the technologies that we have today because of the basically electromagnetic energy or whatever it is, the electric energy that would be out in the atmosphere would scramble signals. So I'm guessing we would have had to invent some way around that. So that gives some credence in a way to what's being shown on this plasmoid unification model if you're looking at it and tying it in with the elements and all this other stuff. So I don't know. So like I say, I'm going to be following this up with an episode on Tesla and on sound waves and things like that. But I urge you, go and watch Alchemical Science. Go and check out Malcom Bendall yourself, see what you can find out. I can barely find anything out about him. There doesn't seem to be a Wikipedia page about him either, which is strange. Because there's one about Graham Hancock, which puts him down, and one about Randall Carlson. Now, Randall Carlson, if he's been duped by this guy, I feel sorry for him. But Randall doesn't seem like the kind of person that would be easily manipulated into just promoting some old hogwash. You know, and he obviously believes in this like I do. And if it's all true and the science works out that, you know, like the thunderstorm generator, it works, you know, and it does this and you can test. I mean, what got me is why didn't you take Alchemical Science? Just sorry to say this, but why didn't you take a tester with yourself for the exhaust fumes? You know, it's all right smelling it, but I want to see it on there. I want to see it change the exhaust fumes, you know, and see that reading. That's what we need to see. You know, it's all right showing these things on there, but I could put anything on. You know, oh, look, it's doing this. So I get why people are skeptical about it. I get why companies and governments would want to suppress this, because if you can openly change, you know, the way that these energy companies kick out fumes and we put them on cars and stuff, we don't need electric cars anymore, do we? You know, we don't need all this climate stuff. We don't need ULEZ. You know, it would negate ULEZ, wouldn't it? Let's think about that for 1 second. Not that ULEZ in the UK is going to make any difference to anybody, you know, because apparently a child's life, according to Rishi Sunak, is worth £12.50. So as long as you pay £12.50, you can drive whatever you like. But if I fitted one of these plasmoid unification model thunderstorm energy things to my van and drove around London, and I could prove that it didn't kick out any carbon emissions or very low carbon emissions, wouldn't that negate the charge? Because my vehicle would then be compliant. But they wouldn't like that, would they? You know? Or you're able to carry on driving around using fossil fuels or whatever you like, you know, oil, cooking oil, you know, that'd be rapeseed oil, that'd be perfect. Put that in your car rather than eating it. Don't eat it, put it in your car, it'd be a lot better. You know, they don't want you doing that. And thank you very much, everyone, for subscribing. Please go check out Alchemical Science. And let me know what you think. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you've been waiting like I have for a follow-up video from Joe Rogan with this Malcom Bendall guy, and basically going, are you full of shit? You know, is this true? You know, what's going on? Is this a real thing? Are you actually going to tell us how it works now? Are you going to come out and say what's going on? Or are you just going to carry on spouting, you know, stuff about governments not changing anything? You know, it's all well and good coming out and saying things like that, but not actually telling us what it is. You know, it doesn't help anyone, does it? At all. So let me know what you guys think, please, in the comments. And yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know. This is why I've been waiting so long to do this video. And I thought, sod it, I'm just going to do it because I've been looking into this for nearly 11 months and I've not got any closer to, to discovering whether it's an actual real thing that's going to go off. You know, when I saw this interview with Randall Carlson, I thought, oh, finally, we're going to get some information. Didn't get any information. You know, I found out a bit about him. You know, he's Australian, worked for some stuff, had some different companies, possibly scammed people, don't know. So yeah, before I get lost in thought again, it's a strange one, isn't it? It's another one of these claims, and then you get people saying, "Oh, it's being suppressed because of this." Well, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know. Alchemical Science, he does it better than me. He's trying to explain stuff and trying to take you through what's going on. So let's hope this is a real technology. Let's hope that we can start utilizing energy, sound waves, you know, to change, you know, move stone and change the atmosphere and chop down trees and things. I don't know, whatever you could use it for, you know, to transmute through to other dimensions or whatever. Because music does take you to other dimensions, doesn't it, when you listen to it? So technically sound does affect you, and yeah, that's a real thing. So once again, guys, thank you very much for subscribing. Look forward to the upcoming episode tomorrow, which I'm going to be doing, which will be continuing on this, and I've got some more fascinating tales from the UK. Bit of a deeper dive into the Welsh Roswell. I want to just go over a few points from there. So yeah, thanks guys, and hope you're enjoying the videos. Please leave me comments on what you think about Malcom Bendall, and should Joe Rogan get him on if he's not already? I know that he talked to Randall Carlson a bit more and he cut the clip. You know, Joe, if he is a scam artist, you're probably the perfect person to bring him on. I mean, I'd love to talk to him myself, because I'd just be like, dude, what is this about? You know, are you just trying to make money from people? What is it? What's going on? Right, okay, well, how's it fucking work then? You know, tell me in layman's terms, how's it work? Bubble goes here, that goes there, goes pop, bang, makes oxygen. Oh, okay. How though? You know, plasmoids. I think Scotty would be better to explain this to us, wouldn't he, really, or Spock. So, yeah, until next time, peeps, have a lovely weekend, and I'll see you in the next upcoming video. And, boys, have a great evening.